Today we are going to be learning the law of cosines. So let me give the information first. What is the law of cosines? And then we are going to solve a few examples. So think about a triangle. Let's say that the lengths are A, B, and C. And for this triangle, let's say we know the measure of this angle. Okay. Let's say the measure of this angle is alpha. So here in this triangle, we can write opposite to alpha, we have C, right? We can write C squared is equal to, here alpha is called included angle. That means alpha is in between A and B, right? So C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB times 2 times A times B times cosine of alpha for this triangle, okay? So let's say that we have the same triangle ABC, but here we know the measure of this angle. Let's say this is beta. So beta is in between A and C. So, and what is across beta? We have B, right? So we can write B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus 2AC times cosine of beta for this triangle, okay? And let's say we have another, same triangle actually, AB and C, but if we know the measure of this angle, let's say it is theta, now in this case we can write the side opposite to theta, we have A, so A squared is going to be equal to, you see this is A squared is going to be equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times cosine of theta. So this is the law of cosine. So whenever you have a question, please stop me and ask your question. Let's solve this example. So here, as you see, we have the triangle ABC, and the length of BC is x, the length of AC is 2, and the length of BC is 2 root 7. But we know this angle, right? 60 degrees. So we can use the cosine law. So what is across 16? What is across 60 degrees? We have 2 root 7. So we can write 2 root 7 to the power of 2 is equal to, we have these two sides, and in between them we have 60 degrees. So x squared plus 2 squared, x squared plus 2 squared minus 2 times, 2 is in the formula always, x times 2. X times 2 times cosine of 60 degrees. So here, 2 root 7 to the power of 2. 2 squared is 4 times root 7 squared is 7 is equal to, we have x squared plus 2 squared is 4 minus 2 times x times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. We can write 4x, 4 times x, times cosine of 60. So what is cosine of 60? Let me try to find it here. Cosine of 60, let's say this is 60 degrees and 30 degrees. This is our special triangle. Across 90, if we have 2, then across 30 we will have 1, and across 60 we will have root 3. So you know the SOHCAHTOA, that means cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, okay? So here, this is hypotenuse. So we are dealing with 60. So opposite 60, we have root 3. This is opposite. All right, so this is going to be adjacent. So cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, adjacent is 1, cosine of 60 degrees, adjacent is 1, hypotenuse is 2, 1 over 2. So cosine of 60 is equal to 1 over 2. Right, let me write 1 over 2. And let's continue. 4 times 7 is 28. We have x squared plus 4. We have minus 4x 1 over 2. So we have to do the multiplication first. So here, 4 times 1 is 4, over 2 is 2. So we have minus 2x. And then we can take this 28 to the right. So x squared plus 4 minus 2x minus 28. So now let's rewrite this expression in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. So 0 is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 4 minus 28. I'm combining the like terms. 4 and minus 28. They are the like terms. So plus 4 minus 28 will be negative 24. So this is a quadratic equation. I have to solve this quadratic equation. So x and x, if you remember, I'm going to need 2 factors of negative 24. When I add them, I need to get negative 2. So those are negative 6 and positive 4. Negative 6 times positive 4 is negative 24. And negative 6 plus positive 4 will be negative 2. So when I factorize this, I'm going to get x minus 6 times x plus 4. So when I multiply 2 expressions and I get 0, then that means at least one of them must be 0, right? So it means x minus 6 is equal to 0, or x plus 4 is equal to 0. X is equal to 6, or x is equal to negative 4. But x cannot be negative 4 because x is a length, the length of BC, and the length cannot be negative number. So it is not the answer. This is the answer. X is equal to 6. Okay, so we use the cosine law and we solved this example. Let's look at another example now. Let's see this one. Cosine of A is in the question here. And what is A? The A is the measure of the angle, this angle, okay? The measure of this angle. So let's use the cosine law. Opposite A, I have 4. So 4 squared is equal to, and we have, what are the adjacent sides of A? As you see, I mean this A, the lowercase a, which is the measure of this angle, 5 and 6. So 5 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 is always in the formula, and 5 times 6, 2 times 5 times 6 times cosine of A, right? Cosine of this angle. It is the question. 4 squared is equal to 16. 5 squared is equal to 25. 6 squared, 6 times 6, 36, minus, so 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 6 is 60. 60 times cosine of A. We have to do the multiplication first. Multiplication takes priority over subtraction. So this is 16 is equal to 36 plus 25. We go from left to right. Oh, that's going to be 61 minus 60 times cosine of A. And then so I have to leave cosine of A alone because that's the question. So I'm going to take positive 61 to the left. So that's going to be 16 minus 61 is equal to negative 60 times cosine of A. This is negative 45 is equal to negative 60 times cosine of A. Now I can divide both sides by negative 60. If I divide both sides by negative 60, I'll get here negative 60 and negative 60 cancels out. I have cosine of A. Negative over negative is positive. 45 over 60. I can divide 45 by 15. Let's divide by 15. It is 3. And 60 by 15, it is 4. Minus over minus is plus. So 3 over 4 is the answer. So cosine of A is equal to 3/4. This is going to be the answer. Let's do another example. If you have a question, please ask. We are going to find the length of AB, which is x. So we are going to use the cosine law. Okay, we are going to use the cosine law for this. All right. So in order to find x, I need the measure of this angle, right? Actually, cosine of this angle. But I don't know that. Let's say this is alpha, okay? So if that is alpha, this is 180 minus alpha. So in this triangle, in the triangle ADC, if I find the cosine of 180 minus alpha, and then I can find cosine of alpha, because let me start with that. Cosine of 180 degrees minus alpha is equal to, so we draw our axes. So I want to find cosine of alpha in terms of, I want to find cosine of alpha in terms of cosine of 180 minus alpha. If it is negative or positive, I have to figure that out, okay? So for this, in order to find this, I'm going to draw my x-axis and y-axis, okay? And then always assume that alpha is an acute angle in this kind of situations. Always assume that alpha is an acute angle, okay? So 0 degrees, 90 degrees, and 180 degrees. So 180 minus alpha is in the second quadrant. It must be in the second quadrant because we assume that alpha is an acute angle. So 180 minus alpha will be larger than 90. So it will be in the second quadrant. Second quadrant. So this angle is 180 minus alpha. 180 degrees minus alpha. 90, 180, between them we have 180 minus alpha. So in the second quadrant, cosine is positive or negative. So the cosine values are the x coordinates, and in the second quadrant, x coordinates are negative. The cosine will be negative in the second quadrant. Negative cosine of. Now I have to find the reference angle. What is the reference angle? So if this is 180 minus alpha, then I have to add this angle. I have to get 180. So it must be alpha, because alpha plus 180 minus alpha will be 180. So the reference angle is going to be alpha degrees here. Okay. So we have found that cosine of 180 minus alpha is going to be equal to negative cosine of alpha. And we are going to use this relationship in order to find x. Okay, now let's start. Look at the triangle ADC. We have the side opposite to this angle is 5. So we can write 5 squared is equal to 4 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times 4 times 6 times cosine of this angle. It is 180 degrees minus alpha. Let's find the value of this. Okay, let's find the value of this. So 5 squared is 25. 4 squared is 16. 6 squared is 36 minus 2, 4, 6. So it is 8. 8 times 6, 48. 48 times cosine of 180 degrees minus alpha. So let's continue. 25 is equal to 16 plus 36 is 52 minus 48 times cosine of 180 minus alpha. We can take 52 to the left, so it's going to be minus 52. 25 minus 52 is going to be equal to negative 48 times cosine of 180 degrees minus alpha. This is, negative 27 is equal to, this is negative 27, negative 48 times cosine of 150 minus alpha. And then I can divide both sides by negative 48, negative 48, and negative 48. So these are canceled out. On the right, I have cosine of 180 minus alpha. On the left, I have negative over negative is positive. 27 over 48. So let's simplify. 27 divide, both of them divisible by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 48 divided by 3 is 16. Minus over minus is plus. 9 over 16. 9 over 16. This is cosine of 180 minus alpha. If this is 9 over 16, look, cosine of 180 minus alpha is 9 over 16. What is negative cosine of alpha? It is 9 over 16, negative cosine of alpha. So that means cosine of alpha is equal to negative 9 over 16, because negative times negative will be positive. So we found cosine of alpha. It is negative 9 over 16, negative 9 over 16, cosine of alpha. Now I am going to find, using this information, I'm going to find x. So let me use this space. For that, I'm going to use this space. Okay. All right, so we have alpha, opposite alpha, we have x. X squared is equal to 2 squared plus 4 squared, because you see 2 and 4 adjacent to alpha. And then minus 2 is in the formula, 2 times 4. 2 and 4 are the length, 2 and 4 times cosine of alpha. So x squared is equal to 2 squared is 4 plus 4 squared is 16 minus 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16 times cosine of alpha, as you see, negative 9 over 16. So here we can cancel 16 and negative 16, okay, because it is in the numerator, it is in the denominator, and minus times minus will be plus. So we can write x squared is equal to 4 plus 16 is 20 minus, not minus, as you see, minus times minus is plus, and we have 9 because 16 and 16 canceled out. So we have found that x squared is equal to 29. That means x is equal to root 29, positive root 29. So x is equal to positive root 29. This is the answer. Okay, so if you have any question, please ask. So here, as you see, we need the cosine of this angle, but we found cosine of this angle, and we see that cosine of 180 minus alpha is equal to negative cosine of alpha. We should be careful here, okay? Another example. We have two. How many minutes do we have? Can we finish this?
9 minutes.
All right, so let me try to solve this, and then the next example, you are going to try to solve this example, okay? It's going to be yours. All right, so in this example, as you see, The question is AB, so let's say AB is X. So the measure of these angles, same, because they're vertical angles. So let's say this is alpha, it must be also alpha. So we need the cosine of alpha to find the value of X. So how can I find the cosine of alpha? I'm going to use this triangle and the law of cosines, and I'm going to find cosine of alpha, and then I'm going to use that value in order to find X. So here, opposite alpha, we have 6. So we can write 6 squared is equal to 5 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times, 5 times, 4 times cosine of alpha, right? This is 36. This is 25. This is 16 minus 2 times 5 is 10. So times 4 is 40. 40 times cosine of alpha. So 36 is equal to 25 plus 16 is 41 minus 40 times cosine of alpha. 41 to the left. 36 minus 41 is equal to minus 40 times cosine of alpha. 36 minus 41 is negative 5 is equal to negative 40 times cosine of alpha. And we need to divide both sides by negative 40 in order to find cosine of alpha. So here be careful, minus over minus will be plus. So cosine of alpha is going to be equal to cosine of alpha negative 40 and negative 40 canceled out. Minus over minus is plus. 5 over 40. You can divide by 5. 1 and 8. 1 over 8. 1 over 8. Cosine of alpha is 1 over 8. So I'm going to use that to find X. So we know alpha, opposite alpha we have X. X squared is equal to, these are the adjacent sides to alpha, 2 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 4. 2 is in the formula, and 2 and 4 are the sides, 2 and 4, times cosine of alpha. So x squared is equal to 2 squared is 4, 4 squared is 16 minus. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. Cosine of alpha is 1 over 8. 1 over 8. X squared is equal to, this is 20, minus, we do the multiplication first. 16 times 1 is 16, over 8 is 2. That means x squared is 18. That means x is equal to root 18, which is, we can write 18 as 9 times 2, and we can take 9 out. So 3 root 2 is going to be the value of x. So the length of AB is 3 root 2. This is 3 root 2. Okay.